KTM is the latest manufacturer to jump on the next-gen Supersport hype train with the all-new 990 RCR. Packing 128 horsepower and 103 Nm of torque from the 947cc parallel twin, the RCR is the most potent of the Euro 5 Plus Supersport bikes and weighs in at 195 kilos ready to roger. That's significantly more claim power than the Panigale V2 and Yamaha R9, and tips the scales at an identical figure to the Yam. And the formula is a simple one. Take the 990 Duke, add some fairings, wings and clip-ons, and allow the engine to utilise more power through less electronic intervention. There's a new swing arm and subframe, and the front end geometry has been tweaked for a more supersport feel. A linkage has also been added to unlock its racing potential. It's fair to say that KTM has suffered a turbulent 18 months. The 990 RCR isn't going to miraculously turn things round, but might be the perfect kickstart to at least ignite a resurrection. Can this all-new next-gen Supersport weapon live up to the hype? We spent a day on the road, followed by a day at the Seville circuit, to truly understand.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah.
Here's the road analysis.
Well, welcome to Sevilla, and welcome to the all-new KTM 990 RCR. There's no denying the first thing you come across is this dash. Game change is a bit too strong, but there is some cool stuff on this. It's touchscreen, so you can go in, go to the menu, do all that sort of stuff, or you can just use the buttons. And of course the new switchgear. I think the internet will have an opinion on this, but functionality wise this is really nice. And I've got to say, the look of it, I mean, man, in race form, in race trim, without all the lights and the mirrors and reg plate, it is a stunning bike. I think KTM have got it bang on here, Nige. In a very kind of next gen Supersport fashion. It's a nice mix actually. It is relaxed, but it's not as relaxed as the Ducati, and it's certainly not as extreme as the Yamaha. So at the moment I'm in track mode, which is why the dash is like this. You've got the big gear position indicator, and I'm doing that because you can't see the speedo as much. Going back to riding position, I was going looking at the seat thinking that is pure track. There is no R&D for the road. But we've been on the bike for about 20 minutes now, and look, I'm not going to lie, it's not comfortable, but at the same time it's not as bad as it looks. Oh, the new shifter blipper is slick. You know, obviously it's been a bit of a up and down year, more down for KTM. See what I did there with the shifter, but they've had a lot of time to develop stuff, and I can tell you now, this shifter blipper is delicious. And look, I'm in track mode with the throttle map at the harsher setting, and the fueling is really nice. I mean, it's look, I don't think it's kind of Ducati levels yet, but well, it's not far off it actually. The throttle connection and the throttle application response is really nice. Yeah, it's certainly come a long way since you know, the sort of first Super Duke days and the sort of agricultural days of KTM. Yeah, the first thing that really gets me, apart from the dash and the riding position and the throttle response, the first kind of instant riding impression is just how nice the suspension is. I mean, we've been riding over some utter shite. I'm looking at the bike, how aggressive it is, how racy it is, looking at the seat, and you know, I don't know whether, you know, previous KTMs, other manufacturers also, where the bumps we've been going over would shatter my teeth, but actually it's really composed. I mean, some of the faster long stuff then, I was expecting to be twitchy a la KTM, but actually it doesn't, dare I say it doesn't actually feel like a KTM. Obviously it sounds like a KTM, but there's certain elements of the riding that I'm thinking it's too composed, it's too stable. And I'm not going to get drawn into the whole aero debate and diffuser debate. But interestingly, the one thing I will say is, you know, the management didn't want to put wings on, but actually when R&D did the testing in the wind tunnel and then the testers rode it on the circuit, you know, Danny P and the other guys, you know, what they're saying is that the bike without doubt is more stable in faster corners and there's more weight on the front end with the wings on. I mean, regular viewers will know of the suffering my testicles have suffered in the past month or so, and albeit funnily enough on another KTM, but I was actually looking at the tank and the rider position. I was like, oh yeah, I'm wearing jeans as well. I think I'm the only one in this group, there's a group of about 9 of us. Everyone else is in full leathers. There's going to be times today where I wish I was going to be wearing full leathers, but it's a road test. So what would I wear normally when I'm at home riding a bike on the road, just going for a ride? I'd wear jacket and jeans on a hot day. You know, stopping for lunch, don't want to take, you know, wearing full leathers. Nah, mate, ram it. Again, this should be rattling my brains out, but it feels really nice, composed. Words that I wouldn't normally put with KTM in the past, but evolution. It's actually quite cool. We're running at 101 degrees. It's 30 degrees outside. I'm wearing black Kevlar RST pants. It's not a hot bike, I can tell you that now. Hey love, I'm going to take you to street mode, sport mode, just to show you what the dash is like. There, that's a more conventional dash. Fuel gauge, distance, trip, speed. Still got gear position at the top. It's nice actually. We're riding some roads that aren't beautiful silken tarmac, and actually there's a bit of real world assessment going on here. Usually some manufacturers send us to the perfect roads and that's all we ride. But in fact, actually also saying that, it's also nice, we're getting a day on the road today and a day on the track tomorrow. I mean, so far it's ticking a lot of boxes, this thing. I've got to say, I much prefer a bit of stability and confidence in situations like this than a bit of a nervous twitch and a bit more excitement. It's certainly not lacking in the excitement, that's for sure. I mean, the brakes are definitely progressive. I think that's a good thing, but sometimes I've been panicking a little bit because there's not a massive amount of extra bite, although it is an adjustable ratio. It's the Master Cylinder from the Super Duke, essentially. So you've got a bit of adjustability in there. So KTM reckons that it's a bit front heavy, nose heavy, and actually a lot of the time it feels nice and neutral. Even when it gets a little bit choppy, the suspension is, I mean, I can't praise it enough, and everyone else is saying the same thing as well. Oh, we're off. Ready to race. I'm not. I love this dash. I love how intuitive it is. I love the modes, how easy everything is. It's my old mate Neevesy. Oh yeah, I see you. Yeah, I'm shocked at just how composed this motorcycle is. If you remember our review of the 990 Duke 990, it's a similar kind of vibe. You know, they're going for a bit of performance over excitement, performance, stability and composure over attitude and excitement. I mean, for me, after half a day on the bike and I was choosing between a Yamaha, a Ducati or this, I mean, just so far I'd have this. I mean, the brakes and the suspension is so far superior to that of the Yamaha, and it's £4 cheaper than Ducati, and equally as premium feeling in the suspension and the brakes and everything else as the Ducati. There is, however, another aspect that we haven't talked about, and that is the sort of thrill factor and fun factor. And I tell you what, the Yamaha, I think the sound, the triple engine, but I mean it's utterly subjective, but for me that Yam packs a lot of fun factor. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is still fun, this is still bags of fun, but the level of control you have is the bit that's surprising me and impressing me in equal measure. Just what you can do with this bike, I can't wait to get it on track. I mean, obviously we rode the Ducati and the Yamaha on the same track. Ooh, giddy. The Yamaha's a bit unfair though, because it was a bit wet, or certainly moist. But the Ducati is a direct comparison. So I have to check my lap times out from where we were last year. Again, this will be the true test on track tomorrow, but the brakes, they definitely aren't as good as the Ducatis, as the Tango'd V2, I can tell you that now. The real test of a bike on a launch is when you get off, you stop for photo, you stop for lunch, and everyone's talking about it, and there's a real hype, there's a real kind of good vibes, man, good vibes. Then instantly we got off this, and we're all, me and Easy, Chad and Northover, we all got off it and just say the same thing. The only problem at the moment, and it could be quite a big one, is the fact that it's the KTM. Well, there was three main reasons why I opted for jacket and jeans today. One was the heat. I didn't want to be in full leathers all day. Two, eating lunch in full leathers is just silly. And three, I haven't had a poo yet. I don't like having a poo with leathers on. I mean, sometimes your sleeves and other bits can just, they end up anywhere. You're not in control. You're not in control of the situation. You might get a rogue nugget, or, you know, a bit of piss or something worse. Well, initial impressions, I don't hold up too much on the Monge, but time will tell. I'll give you, as always, a full product review of the food after luncheon. Bye bye for now. Bye bye. I've got to say, Martinet, that is one of the best lunches I've had on a launch. That was absolute 9 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10 because of the flies. Sort of a fishy, eggy salad to start. Some Spanish scrambled egg with Iberian ham, pork cheek, and a bit of chips as the main. Right, talking of lunch, I mean, you could fit a couple of cheeseburgers in there, couldn't you? I mean, you could put a few Johnnies in there, pack of fags, a couple of bags in there. So one of my favourite features, although it's a super sport bike, I said I love this dash. This is cool as fuck. So, ready to race. Menu, wait for the sat nav to warm up, there we go. Navigation, Circuito de Sevilla, go. I mean, that's really nice. You got all info there. You can also move, so if you go back to the menu, I'll do this quickly now just to show you. Back to the menu, touchscreen, enable, and then you can slide it to however big you want, so you can see all the information and you see the map. I really like that. So as per some manufacturers now, KTM have given us a sat nav and said, right, see you back at the track, which is absolutely bloody brilliant. I got my UK friends, we've got Chad and Christoph North over there. Alright boys? Alright. Tell you what, that pork cheek is already showing signs. Whoa, that is rough as hell. Rough as badger's arse. Oh, that is a ghoulie cracker. That was a ghoulie cracker. Oh, ghouligans. Underused in modern society, that is. A super sport bike shouldn't be this good over roads like this, but it's behaving well. It certainly hasn't got the spread of power that the Ducati's got. Wow, what's this? Oh my word. Oh my god. Yeah, mummy. Oh my god, that pork cheek. Oh god. I mean, look, unless you were on a motorway or an autobahn, I'm never ever have I today wanted more power. I think people are so obsessed by numbers. They go, oh, it's only 128 horsepower. Oh, it's not enough from a 990 twin. And I get that, but I think people are comparing it to bikes 20 years ago. Well, no, in fact, I know they are. When emissions weren't a thing. If you put a pipe on this bike, it'll make 150 horsepower, like straight away. So it's difficult. It's difficult. There still needs a bit of education around the next gen Supersport thing. But regardless of power and peak power figures, it's got enough torque, enough mid-range, enough shove to keep things exciting and get you out of trouble and enjoy properly. I'm sure tomorrow when we're on the track, I'll be wishing there was some more power. But today, right here, right now, I mean, we've had every type of road imaginable as well. I definitely don't want more power. Yeah, so far, loving this whole dash setup. Lots of information, but not super hectic. It's intuitive, like, to be fair, like most things are these days. But yeah, just the right amount of tech, info. I mean, the fact that you've got a decent sat-nav without having to have Apple Play or Google Fanny or whatever it is. In terms of a dynamic review, there's very little to moan about. Very little. I'd like a little bit more bite on the brakes, but also in conjunction with that, I'd like a little bit more engine braking as well. It's not quite a two-stroke, but there's definitely a lack of engine braking, and you find yourself going down another gear just to try and help you stop. But I mean, look, I'm really kind of clutching at straws here and trying to pick on something. I challenge anyone to have a go on this bike and pick out something objectively wrong. It's really very capable, exciting. Like I said, it's ticking all the boxes so far. What's going on here then, Nige? Like I said, I think it's going to take a while, you know, possibly a long time for KTM to regain customer faith and restore some sort of brand presence and trust. No one wants to see a manufacturer go down, especially someone who builds bikes like these. Easy for me to say. Oh, up there. I don't think you're supposed to be coming through here, Nige. Shout out to the man in the van. I wish we could record just how much of a good time we're having, but of course we can't because it's deemed illegal for some stupid reason. But yeah, so we were there enjoying ourselves, just minding our own business, and a wrong way, Chris. Is it? No, it's the wrong way, Chris. Yeah, so flying along, and then this van started flashing, and we very soon figured out why he was flashing. There was a couple of Guardia Civils there hanging out at the bottom of the hill. It does make, I mean, I don't think you can hear it, but it does make some lovely pops and bangs, particularly on the overrun. It does sound good. Well, things have progressed since I last spoke to you. We thought it prudent to split up because I think the police are actually onto the job here. What a decent day in the saddle, I'll tell you that. I'm going to grab a beverage, maybe a beer, and think about tomorrow. But also I'll answer some of your questions now, the road-based questions. And tomorrow we've got a lot to look forward to. This around this track, like the R9, like the Panigale, it's going to be so damn good.
I mean, as far as road tests go, today has been pretty damn good. I'm really trying not to get too much of a launch fever and get too hyped about this bike. But as I said, I'm struggling to think of much wrong with it. It's a really good, fast, composed, but exciting bike on the road. tomorrow is the track. So I'm going to answer some of your road questions. But yeah, just briefly, going back to the kind of negatives, if you like. I'm really struggling, honestly really struggling. The mirrors are guff, the screen vibrates like mad. Other than that, and a bit of engine braking, like a bit more engine braking. Other than that, dynamically, there's nothing wrong with this bike. Right, road-based questions. Casey41287. Sounds like I paint roundabouts, but I'm just curious, where is it made? It's made in Austria. Only the 390s and the 790 range are made in India and China. Harmon_Chris, surely a 1390 version is on the cards. Look, I mean, they struggled to get this through. If you remember, when Mr. Pira was in charge, there was lots of emphasis on not making supersport bikes, or certainly big bore supersport bikes. I'm going to tell you a little story, and I don't know whether it's common knowledge, but I'm going to say it anyway. This bike was never meant to be. The R&D department built a bastard, so to speak, built a prototype, a very ratty prototype, and went, look, this is what we can do. Put some fairings on a 990 Duke, or Duke 990, and eventually it went down the line to management, and they were, actually, this is good, and here we are today. So, in terms of, go back to the question, 3090s on the cards, I can't see it happening. It's too big a bore, it's too gnarly, and I spoke to someone who may have tested a 3090 engine in a similar chassis, and they said it's just unrideable. So, you do the maths. Time and Talk asks, will it have a track pack as standard? Unfortunately not. For 13499, you get the bike. Now, the track pack is the track mode. There's also the tech pack, which is extra, which is quick shifter and cruise control. So yes, this is another frustrating aspect, I suppose. There's going to be lots of people saying, oh, you know what, the bike has all the technology there, but you're just charging to use the software or the hardware essentially. So it is a tricky one. Now, I've just spoken to someone from KTM, and actually they haven't confirmed that the bike won't come with the quick shifter. They're still, this is how early it is in the sales of the bike. They still haven't confirmed. That's why we haven't got prices yet either. But apart from the price of the bike, 13499. Lots of questions about ergos, particularly this one. Pixel Pusher. How do the ergos feel for taller riders, like you're cramped up? Again, I think this is a bit of a hallmark of all the next gen supersport bikes. They're very comfy. I mean, apart from the R9. The R9 is a thoroughbred race bike, and it hurts your knees, it hurts your back, it's crampy on the wrists, and but this is extremely roomy, like the Panigale, but this is even roomier. As I said before in the vlog, it's in between the V2 and the R9 in terms of extreme riding position, or in terms of riding position. Boothie R1, I don't think that's Michael Booth. Lots of questions about Bing. Is it available on the road? Is it track only? I think that's where the confusion lies. So this morning, the road bike, all the figures, all the kind of highlights were announced, all the tech spec were announced this morning. They also announced a track spec bike, so a track only bike. So you can get the RC 990 RCR in track only mode, and that is literally, that's a race exhaust, no lights, race fairings, the bare minimal. And I think there's some tweaks to electronics. But yeah, there is a track only version which is available, and they're also about to announce a race series as well. So a European one make race series as well. So yeah, again, just to sort of switch the confusion. Matty G88, is the power to weight ratio perfect just to annoy the 200 horsepower Willy Waving Brigade? I mean, I've had lots of messages, lots of comments about it. Oh, you know, it's a 990 twin, it's only making 130 horsepower. Mate, you're comparing bikes 20 years ago that didn't have any emission laws. Again, I think I mentioned this earlier in the vlog, but it doesn't feel heavy. It feels like, it doesn't feel as sort of nimble and as easy to turn as the R9, but it's far more stable. But again, going back to the question, is it the perfect power to weight? As I said, I wasn't asking for any more power at all today. Nothing. I wouldn't have wanted, there's not one moment where I went, oh, I'm not going to make an overtake, or, oh, it's a bit slow. I mean, genuinely didn't have that issue at all. So if that kind of equates to answering the question to it is the perfect weight, power to weight, then I guess it is. HS Soupy, reckon KTM pull off production and after sales support given the recent wobbles upstairs? I think just chatting to all the guys here, or a few members of the staff here, they've had a year that they want to forget, and
they have worked, or have, the last year they've had a bit of time to recoup and figure out what to do next. And they, in their own words, they realised it was a clusterfuck. So I'm guessing, this bike isn't going to save KTM, but at the same time, it could go a long way to saving KTM. So I'm intrigued to see what happens. But yeah, trust me, from within, they realise just how massive the issue was. Is it really as exciting as the old inline 4 600 and 750s, or are we taking a step backwards? For me, I think it's I think it's more exciting than the old inline 600s. They were sort of screamy, revvy buggers, but this is I think this is just exciting. I think, don't get me wrong, I think if you built a World Supersport Spec R6 or a CBR 600, it's totally subjective. But this is still amazing fun, considering really it's essentially a Duke model with a few little sort of exclusive tidbits to make it the RCR. Then I think it's still damn exciting. I mean, look, I haven't ridden it on track, but that's all about tomorrow. But in terms of road only, it's ticked a lot of boxes. Daryl.rr, talking about colours. So, does it come in black? Yes, it does come in black. I've been riding a black bike today. I mean, I'm interested to see what it looks like in pictures, because, I mean, in the flesh, it looks stunning. And instantly I went, oh, I'll tell you what, that looked really nice. But look, you know when you've been Tango'd, don't you? It's almost like buying a Ferrari that's not red. If you buy this and don't buy an orange one, I don't know. But the black does look good. Chris_Day54, when is it on sale? It'll be in dealers end of November. The road version, the track version will be available from sort of February time next year. John.McRae14, how is the build quality compared to other top-end KTMs like these Super Duke? I mean, in terms of the finish, there's not a lot of difference between the sort of fixtures and fittings. However, the big step up is a dash and the switchgear. The rest of it is kind of all been used before. Obviously, the fairings are all new. And I love the way it's all concealed, and there's not a lot of, you can't see many cables or wires. And in short, it's just as sort of high end as a Super Duke. W.Ferguson95, can I use the wings as somewhere to put my cuppa in the garage? I mean, you're going to struggle there. You might be able to fit a pasty in there, but given the angle, you're probably going to struggle to fit any drinks on there. Loris_53, is there an optional black triple clamp? The orange looks like something off AliExpress. Yeah, the race part triple clamp on the pictures I showed earlier, that was like a power part special. There was lots of anodized bits on there. The standard black one is much more understated. Junta 10, can I install the 7500 Apex Pro cartridge from my 890 Duke R to the forks on the 990 RCR? That's a really good question, and I think you probably could. Now, hopefully, I would have answered most of those other questions in the vlog stuff earlier on today. I've done my best to. I mean, there's lots of questions about the V2 versus R9 and this. I kind of answered most of that already. There's also lots of questions about the camshafts, but again, the 990 series is unaffected. So I think what I'm going to do is going to have a nice big beer and look forward to spanking this on track tomorrow. Because look, as much as today has been great and as fun as that has been, this thing throttle tapped around this circuit is just going to be next level. So Adamani.